You know, we all think we have a pretty good handle on what an online scam looks like. The bad grammar, the weird dear sir or madam greetings, the requests that are just obviously fake. Well, get ready because that entire world is being radically transformed. Today, we're diving into how artificial intelligence is kicking off a brand new and frankly much more dangerous era of social engineering.
All right, let's just jump right in and look at this. On the left, yeah, that's the scam we all know and love to delete, right? The kind you can spot from a mile away. But now, look to the right. This is what we're dealing with now. We're talking about scams with flawless grammar that are hyper-personalized to you and are incredibly convincing. The old rules for spotting fakes, they just don't work anymore.
So how in the world did scams get this smart? It's so important to understand that this is a completely different ballgame. Seriously, this isn't your parents' phishing email. Not even close.
Here's the real shift in thinking we need to have. These attacks aren't just generic spam anymore. They're more like custom-built traps, designed with you specifically in mind. They can adapt on the fly, changing their tactics based on how you reply. The whole point is to get past that little alarm bell in your head that says, wait a second, is this for real?
So what's actually in this new cybercriminal toolkit? Let's take a look under the hood and see exactly what kind of AI weapons are being used to build these perfect little traps.
First up, the one you've probably heard about, deepfakes. Just imagine you get a panicked phone call from your boss. The voice sounds exactly like them, their tone, their way of speaking, everything. And they're asking for an urgent wire transfer. That's a voice clone. AI can now create audio and video that's so realistic, it's almost impossible for a person to tell it's a fake.
And then there's this, dynamic phishing. This is where things get really wild. You have AI tools like one called WormGPT that don't just write emails without typos. They generate messages that are completely context-aware. It can write an email that perfectly mimics your coworker's writing style, right down to their favorite phrases. It's spooky stuff.
So you might be wondering, how do these attacks get so personal? Well, this is where it gets a little creepy. AI completely automates the reconnaissance. It's like a tireless digital private investigator, scraping your LinkedIn profile, your social media, any public data it can find, all to build this incredibly detailed profile of you. And then it uses all that info to craft an attack that feels uniquely and dangerously believable. And maybe the most unsettling tool of all is adaptive social engineering. This isn't a one-and-done email. We're talking about AI chatbots that can hold a conversation with you for days or even weeks. They patiently build your trust, learning from your responses, and tweaking their manipulation tactics in real time. Okay, so we've seen the tools. Now we have to talk about why our old defenses, our old ways of spotting scams, are just not going to cut it anymore. The game has just completely changed. This chart really shows you the heart of the problem. It used to be that you needed some serious technical skill to pull off a sophisticated hack. The barrier to entry was high. But now, with what they call AI as a service, the barrier is incredibly low. Pretty much anyone can rent these powerful tools, which means the pool of potential attackers just exploded. And when you combine that easy access with the power of automation, you get this, just a staggering scale. Attackers can now launch literally thousands of unique, personalized attacks all at the same time. That's a speed and a volume that traditional security teams are just not built to handle. So what it all boils down to is a kind of a double whammy. This AI-generated content is built to defeat both our technology and our own intuition. It's smart enough to slip right past the spam filters in our inbox, and it's convincing enough to slip past the skepticism filters in our brains. Okay, that's a lot of doom and gloom, but it's not hopeless, I promise. This is the part where we talk about what we can actually do. So let's get into how to build your digital shield and, fight back against the machines. So experts recommend a 5-layer defense strategy. First, adopt a zero-trust framework, which basically means trust nothing by default. Second, you've got to fight fire with fire, use AI-powered tools to defend yourself. Third, training is key. Everyone needs to know what these new tactics look like. Fourth, you need ironclad verification protocols for any sensitive request. And fifth, manage your digital footprint. The less data they have on you, the better. Look, if you only take away 2 things from all of this, please make it these 2. First, use multi-factor authentication. Use it everywhere. It is a massive roadblock for attackers. And second, be really conscious of your digital footprint. Tidy up what's publicly available about you online. The less ammo you give these AI systems, the harder it is for them to build a convincing trap.
And really, it all comes back to this one core idea. We have to completely flip our mindset from trust but verify to, frankly, never trust, always verify. Every single digital interaction, every request, even ones that look like they're coming from someone you know, they need to be strictly verified before you act.
So what does all this mean for the future? Well, this isn't a problem we're just going to solve and be done with. It's an ongoing cat and mouse game. So let's think about where we go from here.
There's this quote from the source material that just hits the nail on the head. As AI evolves, so will its misuse. It's a pretty stark reminder, right? As this technology gets more and more powerful, the ways it can be used against us will get more sophisticated too.
Ultimately, the way forward really has two parts. On the human side of things, we have to build a culture of healthy skepticism and constant critical verification. And on the tech side, we absolutely have to adopt AI-enhanced security to even stand a chance. We've got to use their own tools against them.
And that leaves us with this one final, kind of unsettling question to think about. In a world of perfect fakes, a world where you might not be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's AI, what and who will you choose to trust?